Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Coffee and Conversation Wednesday night on the power of our story. Tonight we have the third episode of tactical storytelling, hosted by retired officer David Berez. We have absolutely enjoyed the first two episodes and excited for this one tonight. So, David, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for hosting it, for allowing me to share in all of this, and I'm glad everybody's been participating. I know we have some people popping in and out over the last couple of days, and I've caught some people up that weren't here last week and are back this week. So, uh, looking forward to moving into phase three. Again, the original process was called the Humanities and Positive Psychology, creating opportunities for police, which we are rebranding as tactical storytelling because the other stuff is too sciencey for cops and first responders, and anything tactical makes people interested. So that is how we are going to move forward. So for a quick review, we went through all of these things our first session and reviewed them last session. So for those of you that weren't here, this is the things that we talked about in the lecture. And then for last week, I'm not sure why we have this going on that way, but these are things we talked about last week, and we discussed the three mediums for humanities under the constructs of literature, visual art, and music. We also talked about the differences between immersive and expressive engagement. Immersive being you're reading the book or going to the museum or listening to music. Expressive being you're writing the book or creating some kind of visual art or strumming away on the guitar or hitting the drums for creating music of your own. And then we talked about meaning statements, and we created our own meaning statements and shared them with each other. And then the homework was to write a meaning story. So we're going to hopefully be able to talk about some meaning stories today. For those of you that were here last week that are willing and wanting to share, hopefully you can at least tell us about them, if not read them to us. This is an interesting quote that I like by Brene Brown. When we deny our stories, they define us. And when we own our stories, we get to write the ending. And for me, I think that's really important for us to consider that our stories don't define us and that we define our stories. So nobody will know about your experience other than you, and you get to share how that experience impacted you or impacts you or drives you or impacted the world. So consider that when you are sharing your own stories, you get to write the ending. Uh, and what I mean by that, or what she means by that, is it can either affect you negatively or you can use it as a strength and a learning experience to grow from. So the whole point here is to create opportunities for us to see our stories from a positive perspective and rebrand them in a way that they are useful to us. So that is that. Uh, Before we get into sharing our meaning stories, anybody have any questions about stuff that we've talked about or discussed so far? Anybody want to share anything about stuff that we've talked about or discussed so far? No, seeing nobody. Uh, I would love for somebody to volunteer to read or share about their story that they wrote, their meaning story, which was your homework. And in that process, I want you to, after you share it, assess your well being. And how did you feel about going through the process? How did you feel about writing it? How did you, or sorry, before the process, and how did you feel about writing it? I got typos in there. How did you um, feel once it was completed? And not the hoe that felt once that you completed once you completed it. So yeah. And how did you feel after sharing it with the group? So let's talk about that real quick. We have Sarah's hand up if you'd like to start. So for those of you that are watching the recording, just know that we had stopped the recording before the first share, which was Sarah, because the stories are personal that people were telling and not for greater publication. So that's why we had stopped the recording. We're restarting now. People that shared their stories answered these questions about how the process made them feel and how they're going to use it going forward. We also talked briefly about the quotes that we have here. So having moved on, the next part was talking about using your story from the perspective of a victor rather than being the victim, and how to come out the other side to not live life in the sense of being victimized, but use your experiences for the greater good. And this quote here, what story am I telling myself about this? And is this the one that serves my character? So character strengths are something that we often talk about in the positive psychology world. And if you want to scan this QR code or go to this website, it takes you to the same place. You can go to the VIA Character Institute or Institute on Character, where you can sign up for free and do a character survey. It'll show you all your 24 strengths when you get to print them out, and your top 5 are your signature strengths, which you can then use to help support your storytelling process. So that is that. So that is where we're going to end the literary part of our journey here. And the next piece will be your next homework assignment as well, is activity number 3, which is visualizing your story. It says here, take 8 to 10 minutes. That's only because we have that amount of time when we do this in person. You can take as long as you want, because we will see you in 2 weeks for the next part of this. You can use whatever art supplies you want, whether you do it on paper and pencil with coloring pencils, or if you want to use crayons or paints, whatever art forms and materials you'd like to use, feel free. And it can be as simple as a drawing or a sketch, or you can make a collage using anything that you'd like. Draw a picture and color it in. Words arranged artistically. What I would ask is that you don't create a photograph or take a photograph for your pictorial narrative. And what we're doing here is creating a picture of the story that we wrote. So everybody wrote your 500-word meaning story. Now we're going to do a pictorial narrative of that story. And one of the stories that we had today, which was very interesting, it was a single moment in time, but told over a period of time. And that's kind of what your picture should be. So you can use a single moment of your story, or you can use your whole story, but recognize as you create that picture, it's actually going to be an elongated timeline in one single picture, which I think is a cool concept. And we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. Just remember that this is an expression about your story. Artistic skills are not judged, though we may laugh at you if it's really bad, but that's okay. It's all in good fun. It is first responder or military locker room humor. And that is what we do best here. So let your creativity flow. No judgment, but there will be. And, we'll have a good time with it. So just looking at the 2 pictures we have here on screen as pictorial narratives, when I look at Norman Rockwell's picture, it's got a title, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. It's called The Runaway. So just by that title alone, you can probably tell yourself the story that's in that picture. But without the title itself, what kind of stories can you tell about what that picture looks like? You can picture hours worth of conversation of this trooper eating lunch with this young kid sitting next to him. I can only imagine the conversations that they were having about mentorship, about school, about just town, about friends, about dads, about moms, about just a man and a boy just having man and boy conversation. And the guy across, the counter, the guy that works there, probably trying to, sell a hot chocolate or something like that. But you can literally come up with 1,000 different versions of stories from that single painting. Just like that other photo that we have here next to it, while this is probably a tactical photo that I found, this is a photo I found online, probably some sort of tactical thing that they're lining up to do some sort of operation. But what I saw first was a stupid TikTok video out of this picture. Law enforcement's been noted for doing these dumb TikTok videos recently, trying to relate to the community or whatever. And that's kind of the nonsense I saw in this, even though that's probably what it's not about. But again, any picture can be told, can tell 1,000 stories. It is up to you, the story you want to create. And when you draw the picture of or create the picture of your own meaning story, it's going to be about you. But in that picture, without the story behind it, people are going to see and understand different things. And that's okay. They're going to see themselves and their story in your picture, which I think is pretty cool. So your assignment this week or over the next 2 weeks is to create a pictorial of your meaning story. And anybody have any questions about that? Seeing none, we will just go to our final slide for today. So for our next and final session, I want you to bring your art to share with everybody. And again, I say there's no judgment, but I promise you there will be. And we are going to, either put names to our pictures, a title to it or whatever. We'll talk about them and see what people see in your pictures. I think that'll be a fun discussion. If you think of it, while we're waiting for our next and final session in 2 weeks, I'd love for you to send me up to 3 of your favorite songs. If you are into certain music, please just send me some titles and I will look them up on Spotify or YouTube and try to incorporate them for our final session when we talk about music, if I can link it to what I want to talk about. Or if you play music, whether it's the recorder, the guitar, the drums, whatever, feel free to record yourself and send that to me in video as well. I would love to hear how you express yourself in music. So you have my email address there. That QR code goes to my website, but my email address is on the website, which is why I put that there. So that's kind of where we're at. For anybody that will be watching not live in the recorded version of this, as you go through some of these exercises, I would love for you to share them with me so I can keep track of them. It's not like I will share them with your name attached, but the end goal for me is to try to do some data collection and run some of the stuff through large language models for additional research on words that we're finding common or themes that we're finding common within people's journeys and stories. And again, it'll be all confidential. It's just me for research purposes. So thank you all for playing along this week, and I look forward to hearing or seeing some of your stories. If you are willing to share them, I'd love to read them, especially if you were not part of our session today. And Sarah, back to you, unless we have any other questions.
Well, again, David, this was great. This was very informative. It was powerful going through your exercise. I think we all learned a lot from it. I think we gleaned new things about storytelling in a powerful way. I'm definitely looking forward to next week. Although
Music's going to be fun.
for sure I'm going to be judged with my drawings, but that's okay. I can endure it.
That too. All good. Yeah,
Thanks,
it's
David.
I don't have one to share because honestly, I've never drawn one myself. But maybe I'll do it for next week.
I think you should. You have to be the first one that does it. How's that?
The one I generally share is the transitions picture that I did digitally, and but I've never actually drawn one out, so I might have to do that for next week.
Well, you got to share in our judgment.
Exactly.
I don't know if you saw in the chat, David, I sent you those pictures that I was telling you about.
I did not see the chat at all.
I know I'm making fun of chats and then sending it to you. But
what I'm going to do is end the slideshow and end the screen share.
Okay.
When doing the screen share, I can't see the chat.
Should I go ahead and shut off the recording or shall we record this?
Well, so I don't see anything in the chat. Oh, wait, hold on. Was it private? There we go.
So what I was talking to him the other day, and a friend of mine who served with my brother in Iraq, when he was there, there was a school that was like bombed, and there was a painting, like the whole thing was kind of like burnt out, is my understanding. And then there was a child's painting on the wall. And he took that painting, folded it up, put it in his pocket, and carried it with him through his the continuation of his tour in Iraq. And then when he got home, he kind of did some art therapy. and kind like recreated that photo, not the same, but like his version of the photo, that the child's drawing. He turned it into this huge painting that was kind of like a self-reflection thing for him. And it had pieces of all of the things he experienced during war, and then also had a song that went with it. It's what's that guy's name?
Keith Urban.
Keith Urban. It was a Keith Urban song, and it kind of like the painting that he made tells the story of the song a little bit. Um, and it was just a really, and like he was telling me about this art stuff, and I'm like, hey, I actually have an example of someone who had this super healing experience through that artwork. Um, Let me
Yeah,
see if I
this
can just.
is crazy powerful. I'm just looking at it now.
I think I can put the pictures in the chat for you guys to see. The Okay.
Wow.
Can David
So
share it if he has it?
I did just pop them
Yeah,
up in the chat, in the general chat. You guys should be able to see them.
I can't share it though.
So the picture on the left in this is the one that this was a child's photo, like a middle school age child, had painted that, and that was on the wall in the school. Um, and that was what he carried. You can see it's folded. He folded it, put it in his uniform pocket, and carried that with him. Um, and it's kind of a powerful photo by a a student for sure. There's a woman crying, uh, somebody bleeding with a dove, which is supposed to be a peaceful thing, and then bombs with USA on it. For him to have found that in a school, it's a pretty powerful photo.
It's incredible. It's chilling, bone chilling for me.
And then the one that he drew, if you like zoom in on it, there's all these little like just different things. This is one that he had framed. But there's just all these different things in the photo that, where like he had like this little paper boat, which was like, to represent like childhood and like innocence. And that bull in the background, my brother and him, they were the 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. Their symbol is a Brahma bull, the thundering third. So that's that. Then there's General Mattis is at the top up there. And then all these coordinates are written in here. Those are different coordinates for different important places during the war. And I would love to have him come on and maybe, talk about his painting, because he, tells all about what everything means, and just kind of like his version of it. But he, like national defense, and like stamped on a body.
Mm.
Um, it was just very powerful. And then if you listen to the song, the painting's titled For You, and it's the same as the Keith Urban song For You. There's lyrics that go with it, and it's kind of powerful to listen to those lyrics and see the chilling photos, the paintings.
Yeah, I think it would be really powerful to have him come on as a follow up to a lot of this and have that discussion. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely invite him to come. He would probably really enjoy it.
They have in San Diego, they have a few of the nonprofits that do these art projects, whether it's making a mask, to be able to express their stories for those who can't really share or talk about it. But yeah, that was really powerful. Wow.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it in a while. I actually have he had the ones that he made, he had printed, and he gave one to me, and we had everyone sign it at one of the reunions we went to. But it is a really good example of art, like therapy, telling his story through art. And I really like the fact that he has that other photo that goes with it.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
David, do you have any more thoughts, or are you?
No, I'm just kind of taking in these pictures. They are the one that the child drew. I can't imagine walking into the school and seeing that.
Can do you have I'm almost wondering if I should even ask this. Like, do you have insight into what that means? That
The child's photo?
hmm
Oh, only from what I could guess. I mean, he didn't,
It
I don't
feels
have,
anti-American to me.
it's like anti-American, but American. It's hard. It's like,
Yeah,
and I'm sure they had mixed feelings like
of
that.
course.
Yeah. Like, was it a savior or was it an enemy?
Yeah,
The
that's what I'm
part that's
thinking too.
really compelling to me is that there's like the dove in there, right? Like the doves are supposed to mean peace, and then there's a bloody person and a crying person, and you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Well, and also the depiction of Mecca in that.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, very, very chilling
It's
and
it's beautiful and very thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Art is a powerful thing, especially when, again, we don't know the story here. So we're creating one
hmm
Yeah.
and we can all see it differently and we can all rewrite history in a very different way. And, when you think of that on a more global scale, that's why it's so important that we do tell our stories because we don't want people telling them for us.
Hmm.
Mm. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
especially honest, like off topic, but especially with social media now and how
Yeah.
people get a tiny glimpse into people's lives
Yes.
and kind of, can sensationalize or like what Courtney was saying earlier, like you don't understand that other people are going through all of this stuff because they posted a picture of the sunset on their social media today.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And and
Uh,
and and who would want to on social media though, like who would want to express anything? I mean, people do. I guess it depends.
I try to because I feel like if I tell people about my shittiest days on social media that other people can be like, "Oh yeah, I had a bad day too." Um but um but I know that people still only see like versions, small
Mhm.
glimpses of your life. I try to talk about bad stuff. Mostly, I don't know, I'm a Libra. I don't really care. Like I will tell everyone everything. Like I will get like people are like, tell us something we don't know about you. I've probably already told you.
I'm one of the
it can go
sunset
both
people
ways.
on social media. Yeah, I'm the one that does the sunsets.
And those
So,
stories can go both ways because, like, I think about social media as an akin to the modern water cooler.
Yeah.
And if I think about this all the time at 3 in the morning when I was at work and guys would go around the water cooler, the first person would say, "Oh, this sucks," or "That sucks," or "The chief, fuck the chief," whatever. And then all that does is take the conversation down the toilet. But if the first person starts with, "Dude, I was at my son's baseball game the other day. He hit his first home run. It was the coolest thing." And then you try to one up each other in the other direction instead of
Yeah.
one up each other in the wrong direction.
mhm.
And I think social media has that ability as well. And yes, things can suck for people. And yes, they should express it instead of holding it in. But I think social media personally would be a lot more effective if we shared so many positive things. And when I popped on to, Facebook today, that I saw all these sunsets and flowers and good stuff. Not that I'm this foo-foo rainbow and unicorns guy. But
David,
Sure. That's what he tells us.
but I rather see that than everybody bitching about something.
Yeah.
Very much so.
yeah. I used to be a little bit more open about stuff on social media, but I just feel like there has been just people have just become so mean on social media. I'm like, why would I want to tell anything not very much personal on there? Maybe some fun events about it. So, okay,
But
I'm re-inspired. I'm
but
re-inspired.
then there's me. I do the podcast and then I advertise the podcasts on social
Very,
media.
very
So
unique.
you
What's your
know, but
podcast
that's
about?
to let people know that you're not alone.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I love that. Thank you for doing that, Deborah. Debbie. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, advertise your podcast. Let's go.
well, I'm a professional guest on other people's podcasts.
Hmm. Yep, I've been there. I'm still there.
So, I mean, I've taken a little bit of a break here for the last 4 months, but the end of this month I'm starting back at it. So yeah,
Awesome.
Well, I can't wait to hear your story next week, Debbie. Do you think are you going to share your story next week? No pressure.
I can.
Awesome.
I can a
I'll be
little
hearing
bit.
your written and your pictorial story this week.
Yeah. I will do my best. I can sit in color with my grandson. That'll be fun.
Precious. That is precious. Well, David, thank you.
Well, yeah, thanks for, again, for humoring me and allowing me to share this process with everybody else.
Yeah, it was great. And I just realized you are actually going to be on in 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
not next week. We're going to have David, who is going to have a guest on next week. And then we're going to have Richard Sprunger. Daniel, I'm sorry. Daniel Torres will be on. 2 weeks, we'll have Richard Sprunger. He'll be leading the group. And then David will be back with the fourth episode. And then,
We have lots of time
Wow,
for our
fourth
art.
time.
yes, we do. Okay. We can like become
I have lots of time.
That's that's the 25th, just to clarify, right?
That's the
Okay.
25th. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
25. Okay.
All right.
And are you going to be posting the other ones on to watch?
I'm going to go ahead and shut off the recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was letting it roll. So, thanks again, David. Looking forward to the last one. Doesn't have to be the last one, but so far we're thinking that the 25th will be ending it. So thanks everybody who watches this.